The following is a Productions original series.
Hello, and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I am Doug Vincent, joined by Addie Rich from Atlanta, where the leaves fall, but Addie never does. It's the
I wish that were the truth.
She's the queen of rolling and smiling through every season. How are you?
I am very well. I'm super happy. It's chilly here today. There's a fire in the fireplace, a little bit of rain. Who knew that could make a girl so happy?
I was looking at our weather forecast here because it was a little foggy and damp this morning. But as I look through the rest of the week, it's like going to be 90 for Halloween. It doesn't seem like fall weather, does it? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Whereas I saw 39 in the morning and I was like, yes! I'm crazy. I'm telling you. It's okay.
Yeah.
So you skipped what we normally do. So tell me about you. I have cerebral palsy.
Yep. I'm a polio survivor. Was a crutch user, now wheelchair user, and living large. So,
awesome.
How was your week other than the fall hitting?
It was really good. It was really smooth. Got lots of research done. It was the kind of week I want to have where there are no huge hiccups and interruptions and things that put you in the fight or flight. So I'm living the dream. How about you?
Yeah, good. Busy weeks. Like the last 3 weeks have seem like excessively busy, which, it's all of my making. I'm retired, so, I'm entirely responsible for my whole schedule pretty much,
I know I'm smiling over here like, fire your planner. Oh, wait, that's you.
That's me. Yeah, but it was good stuff. I mean, I told you a 3 weeks ago that our executive director at Rolling Start got another position, so she's moving up in the world, and we're very happy for her, but, we're a little sad for us, And so we had a going away party.
Secretly sad and shaking your fist at the universe.
And the staff really did the majority of it, and some board members helped out, but we put together a nice going away party. They got proclamations and things from different dignitaries around our area, and a few of them came by, and a bunch of colleagues that she'd worked with in the past at other organizations, they came by and gave everybody an opportunity to say very nice things about her, and it was awesome. It was really nice to see, especially for me, the staff, and how, they're very sad to see her go. And they were telling some incredible stories of the way that she treats people, and, the way that she's very sensitive to the needs of somebody and those life's experiences that come up in all of our lives if we have a loved one that we've lost or something, and when we have to take time away from work, and how a boss handles that, and I've had bosses that have said, you can't take the day off because your wife is delivering your child. Believe it or not, that's the kind of people I've, crossed paths with. Yeah, which is insane. Absolutely. Yeah, so to hear the stories, and that's even before I heard those stories, that I knew that Lisa was like that, because I could tell the way these people would do anything for her. And I knew it was because she was there for them in whatever those needs were. That's when you'll walk through, coals for somebody.
Yeah, you'll go through fire because you're like, this human has my back.
Yeah.
Separate of work, right?
Yeah.
And people that can transcend the feeling of I care about you because you're an output for me is tremendous, especially in this day and age, right? Like the fact that people can laud other people for being people and support them, that's how we grow. That's how we gain our success or believe in ourselves or whatever, right? So tremendous.
And one of the byproducts of that is those people will work their ass off for you. You're going to get the productivity.
Come in late, stay, or come in late, stay long days.
Yeah.
Not say, well, that isn't in my job description. Yes. So bravo to her.
That was
boo
wonderful.
For leaving, but onward and upward. We each have to do that in our journeys.
And good luck. And then, of course, a dinner with my hot rod friends that we go out every Tuesday night. That's always a hoot. Then we had an RSI, Rolling Start board meeting on on Wednesday night. What else did I do Wednesdays? I mean, it seemed like there was stuff during the day, but anyway.
You had wheelchair support group because
yes, that's right.
You messaged me and I was getting ready to work out.
Yeah. And that was a hoot. We talked about, and it's something I kind of want to do here a little bit, but just the things that people say to you, and much of it is well intentioned, but and this is one, I don't know if I've gotten a lot, but I've seen where a lot of people get this response. It's like people will, even if they ask respectfully, what happened? Can I ask you what your condition is, or how you came to this? And you tell them, and then they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." What do you?
I know.
Did you do it? Did you do it to me? What do you have to be sorry for?
I will not share the story on air because, to be kind.
Yeah.
But you have heard the story of what happened when I went to my conference, where I was put in a very awkward situation by somebody unexpected, and a very similar feeling of like, well, now this is super weird.
Awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and implied in that is that you're lesser than. That you have something to
like what
for them to feel sorry for. Yeah. Up until you just did that, I didn't feel sorry for me. What are you sorry for? Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, so I'd like to get maybe a couple former guests on, and just kind of have a round robin and talk about those kinds of things. Yeah, like
a roast. Those roasts on socials are so funny. And honestly, like all the people that would join us would not care. Like none of us are phased. We feel bad for you that your mind is so small that you said that. So I think that's where it would be funny and lighthearted is our attitudes. Just to like, okay, here's another one.
And really that would be the goal, is to maybe educate, We don't feel bad about it. We're not, and we're not bitter about it. It's just kind of funny. Oh, and some of the things are absolutely hilarious, the experiences you have, and a bit bewildering sometimes, but so we did that at the wheelchair support group. So everybody was kind of sharing their stories. Yeah, it was funny. Oh, and then I had to leave there early. Why did I have to leave there early? Where was I going?
I don't know.
That was, I probably had to get back here for something. I think it
was Thursday because I was working out.
Yeah.
And which I can still feel, by the way, Jeff.
Oh, I know what it was. I had a dermatology appointment, so I had that going on too.
Yeah, Doug had to do some adulting.
Yeah. I had to get the follow up on my biopsy, which is it was benign. So.
Oh, good.
Everything was good on that front. Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
What else? Went to the pantry Thursday. Worked in the office here on Friday, and then went to a Halloween party on Saturday.
Fun. Okay.
A guy that I know and his wife, they have it every year. They've given me an invitation at least 10 years, if not longer. Good. And I just never have been able to make it because, my daughter's birthday is around Halloween, so that's probably been the thing, to keep me from it. But finally made it, and wow.
Was it fun?
They're the people that, that go all out. They have a nice backyard area where they can entertain. They had a taco guy there, and these are the same people that had it at the car show up in Big Bear. And after the car show, they had the taco guy, same taco guy, at their house. Well, here they have a house down here, and wow, just decorated. I'll put up some pictures, but and a good time. And they had a contest, for the Halloween costumes, and because I haven't made it, I didn't know, but everybody was saying, "Man, this is the most costumes I've seen, to be in the contest ever." So, it was
amazing.
Always fun. Good
did you
group
costume, or did you just go as Doug?
Yeah, I don't know. It's good. Probably I threw something together. I have a Angels jersey, and so I put that on and put one of my Angels hats on, and that was it. And I wasn't the only one. So, so I felt all right. Yep.
Nice.
So a good week, and looking forward to stuff. Oh, and went and saw my granddaughter play soccer. She made another goal, so very excited. Losing effort, unfortunately, but yeah, she's
Who cares?
all the kids are coming together. It's great to see them kind of processing everything, and they're making progress as far as conceptualizing the game. You know what I mean?
There's a field and you're trying to do something. Yeah, that's fun.
Because of course, everybody goes to the ball. That's your first thought, and the coaches are trying to teach them, to some of you have to run beyond that. So whoever kicks the ball has somebody to kick it to, so you can take it to the goal. You know, and there's the light's starting to come on, I think. Yeah. So looking forward to following that. So today, who do we have today? You know what? Before we talk about, we do have Peter. Let me just say real quick, thank you to Rita and Marissa for telling their story last week.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
Wow.
I literally want to step through the screen all the time and hug all the people. Like, I'm a toucher and I'm a hugger. Sorry, anybody who ever meets me. But they were definitely a group where I'm like, scoot over on the couch. Let's talk about life for the next 14 hours.
Yeah. And I saw them at the Possibilities Mixer, and they were saying at least Rita was saying, at least telling the story, it hadn't even aired yet, but just in telling the story, I just feel so much better. And when you hear this episode and hear what she's been through, you'll see what.
It's been a long road. Yeah. She is an amazing human, and her daughter is an amazing human, which is not surprising because she came from her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But
we
are lucky, and we got to spend some time with her.
All right. So now tell us, who's coming up today?
So now it's Peter. Peter.
DeHaas, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Peter DeHaas. I was lucky enough that his assistant reached out via LinkedIn, found me, and asked if we could connect about an upcoming event that they have, and suggested that we might want to talk to Peter.
Now, was Cat Paws, which sounds like I'm making a joke, but she was that part of that connection? Because they know each other.
So Kat met the assistant and suggested us. So it's like the 6 degrees of separation. Okay. However,
and then
she
the
found
assistant
me on LinkedIn. Yeah, and then kind of made the intro. And obviously, with what the event that's coming up is right up our alley. But also, she suggested that we talk to Peter, and Peter has a tremendous story, and it's cool.
Excellent. All right, we will get into all of it next, right after a word from Adyar Professional Training.
At Adyar Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Adyar is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Adyar Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
From the Adyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
Don't put me on a pedestal, I'm not here to inspire. I've got my flaws, my highs, my lows, my own heart's fire. I laugh, I cry, I break, I'm in just like anyone. I'm not your symbol of courage, I'm just me, done. I've got dreams that soar, fears that bind, moments of grace and times I'm blind. I'm not your hero or your saint. I'm real, I'm raw, no restraint. I'm more than your story, more than your view. I'm flawed and I'm brilliant, I'm kind and I'm cruel. I'll lift you up.
All right, Walk and Roll Live continues. Time to get to know our guest today, and let's start with him doing a self-introduction.
I'm Peter DeHaas. I'm the founder and executive director of the San Francisco Disability Business Alliance.
All right, and any disability at all, or just for the context? Well, that's the way Addie and I start our show, just to give it our conversation, our life experience, that point of view.
I'm hard of hearing, so technically I have hearing loss in both ears, and it's unique because I've been teaching sign language for nearly 30 years.
Wow.
Amazing.
This is kind of just a quick sidebar, but given that, have you noticed that more people are getting involved with ASL? I've seems like I've run into a few people actually who are, have no hearing issues, but they're learning it to be interpreters and things like that.
Yes, it's very cross-cultural, and it's encouraging to see more of my students pursuing pathways to becoming deaf educators, speech language pathologists who utilize sign language. I have students that are studying criminal justice, drama, across the board, really. But yes, interpreters too. We have a great interpreter training program here in the East Bay at Ohlone College, and it's great to see my students matriculating into that program. They're all very important positions to hold to support individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing.
Yeah, you must be thrilled with that.
It's really what makes me tick as a professor, and I didn't realize that until I moved to San Francisco 13 years ago, that I really love the interface with students and helping them, one, figure out what the heck it is they want to do, whether it's graduate school or the next part of their career journey, and two, helping them recognize that it's very important to make a contribution somehow, and harnessing that creativity that they have to make an impact civically somewhere. And many of my students volunteer historically for San Francisco Disability Business Alliance events, and we have a nice partnership with San Francisco State University as well. The president and the School of Education get behind our programs.
Amazing.
So let's learn a little bit more about Peter. Just again, to kind of give it context, and before we get into the real reason why we're here, but just, how did you find yourself in a position to start your foundation?
Well, I come from a family of educators, builders, and literally construction industry and special educators. So you might not see a correlation, but I was raised in a family that was very aware of the connection to people and building relationships. And my dad always said that it's about the people. And I was born with a seizure disorder, and I grew up in a family that was supportive of that. And then, of course, with my sister's work in the area of special education, it's just how I was raised. It was a part of my patchwork quilt, my ethos, and what I believed in. When I moved to Boulder, Colorado in 1990, I think it was 1990, I started working with folks with developmental disabilities who were deemed unemployable by the state of Colorado, and we built vocational supports and services around them. And it was a beautiful organization. Imagine Colorado is the name of the nonprofit. And so that's really where I cut my teeth in learning about not only deaf culture and American Sign Language, but advocacy, learning how to be a good advocate, the vocational piece, and really helping people develop, whether it was supported employment or independent employment, really thinking outside the box and really learning how to be innovative and creative. And I really honestly attribute a lot of my success to those roots in my work, being supported by an organization that taught you to be creative and gritty and thinking outside the box.
So I'm curious. You were born different, obviously. You handed a little bit of a different ticket, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you pursue like something that touches that difference in a way, right? Like, what inside of you said, "Oh, I want to work with the disabled community. I want to do these things." I was writing a blog this morning about that for myself, that like as a disabled person, not that I hit it, but I wanted to kind of be mainstream and be like everybody else. So for you to kind of take a vein and say, "No, this is important to me and I'm going to pursue this work," what made you do that?
That's an interesting question, because I didn't readily self-identify with my seizure disorder. Like, it was kind of a part of my blocked history. Not that I had shame or anything like that about it. It was just kind of it was history. So it wasn't, I never thought about it in terms of how it shaped who I am. And, it was some 30 odd years later that my mother said, well, Peter, your seizure disorder and the medications you were on, could contribute to learning differences and this and that. So I never thought about it, and I never contextualized it that way until recently. And I'm quite, curious and charmed by my story and the diversity of my story. I attribute my kind of tripping into the industry, as it were, the influence of one of my older sisters, who at the time was at the University of Northern Colorado, but also to my curiosity. I was working at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado, sacking groceries, and there was an enclave of folks with disabilities who were cleaning the Hungry Toad restaurant every day, streaming into Ideal Market and purchasing, a little something to accompany their lunch. And I was curious and I asked questions, and next thing I knew, I was interviewing. So it was kind of my sisters nudging me, but also my natural curiosity. I didn't go to school to work in the field. I was a music major and a creative writing major, but I wasn't, and a sociology minor. So I loved people and understanding people, and it was just a natural kind of auspicious meandering that occurred for me to end up in the field.
Sounds like somebody I know that's in this conversation. Addie has a similar kind of history.
Yes, I can relate. But so we're talking about stumbling into things. Let's kind of continue that, because what was your initial thought of, okay, I'm going to do this with what I'm studying? Like, when Peter, before all this stumbling, what was Peter going to do with what he was studying?
I think I was going to be a poet, or I'm still a very, very active musician. It's a part of who I am, and I still play actively. I practice several days a week, and I play out in one of the greatest cities in the world. I have the opportunity to play music here in San Francisco, and incorporating people who identify with disabilities into the fold, and striving to pay musicians a living and equitable wage, and artists a living and equitable wage here in San Francisco. So it's a part of who I am. So it's interesting. It's an interesting cross section.
Yes.
It's Peter. It's
under quilt of you.
What's that?
We're building the quilt of who you are. Like,
well,
umbrella.
I would love to tell you how it is I came to the notion of launching SFDBA, if that's appropriate at this point in time.
I like it.
Yeah, totally.
I moved to San Francisco 13 years ago I followed my son out here, and always loved San Francisco and the innovation and the independence and the freedom of creating things. And it always seemed like a city that, in an area that really embraced creativity and innovation. And I got here and I hit the ground running, working several inclusion type positions. I was at Golden Gate University as their disability coordinator. That position evolved into the director of disability resources at Golden Gate University, a legacy university here in San Francisco, and also teaching at State, and working for the inclusion program at Recreation and Parks. And I quickly realized that we were fortunate in this little 7x7 village that we live in, that you can network with people in a way that I've never, had contact to a mayor or a previous mayor at a networking event, or, the head of the board of supervisors or the head of the chamber, meeting, people who are influential and know a lot about business. And I recognized that San Francisco was the birthplace of Section 504 with the protests at the federal building, and the independent living movement in Berkeley. But otherwise, I saw kind of a fragmented landscape. I wanted to see more kind of cohesiveness and build community, but also, and most importantly, find a seat at the table for individuals with disabilities as it relates to small business. And with the research I was doing and continue to do, people with disabilities are starting businesses at a rate almost twice that of individuals who don't readily self-identify. 1 in 10 San Franciscans identifies with having at least one disability. So I knew that there was a there. And I got enough pushback and enough support from the community to launch this wonderful organization in March of 2020, right before everything shut down. And in a million years, I never imagined that I was going to start my own nonprofit. As I said, I've worked for nonprofits for my whole adult life, but I never really understood how the back end of a nonprofit worked. So it's been quite an entrepreneurial journey for me, starting such an organization with distinct social impact, not only helping small businesses with the inception phases, but helping them through their launch, access to capital, continuing with technical assistance, and above all, being a part of an amazing community of disability-owned businesses.
You know, as you started your foundation, and you touched on a couple of points already in this conversation. You know, we talk about those people that say we can't work in our community. And just in that sentence alone, they kind of show how ignorant they are, because what we've learned doing this, Addie and I, that the community is so diverse, and even within the same diagnosis, it's very diverse. So you just can't say that about our community. Yes, there probably are people that can't work, but they're dismissing all of us just on one big umbrella that covers this community.
My observation, Doug, is that there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of shame around the subject of disability.
Yeah.
And God gave me the grace to be here to disengage that fear and shame and shed light and help people understand that people with disabilities are some of the most creative, gritty individuals through their lived experience and through their stick-to-itiveness. That's what really inspires me to continue to do this work. Just the stories, the contacts that I make in the community, and just how our community continues to grow. And there's always going to be naysayers, but that's what we're here to do. And now, right now, more than ever, at this point in the history of the United States of America, our organizations, your organization, are the pillars of what's going to carry our children's generation forward, in understanding that there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do things. And inclusion and accessibility are not dirty words. They're a part of who we are as Americans, and setting the pace in the rest of the world to make the world a more accessible place.
Maybe you can maybe share with us, you know, how you're doing that, because I know you've got scholarships for budding entrepreneurs, right? But then how about the other side, and talking what we were just talking about with education? How much education do you try to do for employers to allay some of that fear?
That's an interesting question. So I'm going to answer that first by saying, yes, we have the Boost Awards in the second year now. It's kind of like a Shark Tank, a mini Shark Tank type event where our small business owners are pitching their small businesses, and they can be awarded up to $1,000. And that's we get a total of $5,000 to disperse. And then this year we had over 14 applicants, which is just so exciting and unprecedented to see that many people coming out of the woodwork. And it's really challenging because they're all really great small
I
business.
know.
I wish we had $1 million. My gosh, it's so amazing. And then we have our Future Entrepreneur Program, which is kind of a boot camp for folks, meeting them where they're at with a curriculum from the Chicagoland Entrepreneurship Center out of Chicago and a partnership with DePaul University. It's an 8-week program and always kind of morphing and evolving topics around financial literacy, marketing, access to capital, networking, writing their business plan. And it doesn't stop there. Then they receive technical assistance ongoing and referrals. But to answer the other part of your question, it's interesting, Doug. When I launched in March of 2020, I was, the name San Francisco Disability Business Alliance, it leaves people kind of wondering, what does that entail? What does that include? And at the time, I was pretty steadfast to avoid mission bleed, to make sure that people understood this organization is about supporting individuals in their small business development. And at the time, a lot of people were like, does this mean we're going to have to do curb cuts and blah, blah, make our bathroom accessible? And of course, the answer was yes. But I could see where people's train of thought was going in relation to the mission of the organization. Of course, the overarching mission is inclusion and accessibility. But we weren't doing much around education at that point in our career as an organization. But this year, we hosted for Small Business Week, which is one of my favorite times of the year here in San Francisco, one of my favorite events in partnership with the San Francisco Chamber and the San Francisco Public Library. We had making business accessible as a growth strategy for small business in San Francisco during this period of time, where people are maybe being told otherwise in terms of what they need or have to do as it relates to disability. But we are front and center saying, no, we're celebrating the ADA's 35th anniversary, and this is what our offering is to the community. Basically helping people realize that by making their business more accessible, they're going to have loyal customers. They're going to be setting the pace for other small businesses. And it's, people might argue with me on this, but it's pennies on the dollar to, take steps to make your business more accessible. It doesn't have to all be at once, but taking steps.
Well, the good news is a lot of that stuff is baked into the infrastructure. There probably are already curb cuts and, right.
We have a lot of old buildings in San Francisco.
Yeah, no, I understand. But where I'm going is, there's a lot of things that don't cost you a dime. Just don't put your displays so close together that a wheelchair, say, can't get through.
Right.
And those
universal design.
Yeah.
Universal design
doesn't cost anything.
What a concept.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, Doug, this is also making me think of, I can't think of the young lady that did the TEDx talk, right?
Yeah, Lisa Cox, out of Australia.
Yeah, there you go, Lisa. I was like, my mind was
Me
like,
too.
we've talked about this because the economic crosshatch of, we don't all live in our bedroom and never go outside and have no money to spend. People forget, we are a thriving part of the world, and invite us in and you might learn something. And you can take our money too. There are many things that we want. And, we will just ask Amazon for me. And other, I try to shop small too. So like you say, it's those things. I have a little rock shop that's my favorite, but I had to tell them hey, I can't come in here if you don't separate this stuff, because I can't get through and it's terrifying. I'm going to knock all your stuff over. Having conversations like that this is a place I want to be. I want to be part of you guys, but I need certain things in order to be that. And it's not even they're we're going to not do it so people, don't come in. They just don't see it because they don't live it.
Yeah.
And helping people understand that they're a part of our community as well. They're a part of our...
Exactly.
That's a good way to put it, yes. And vice versa, exactly. So while we're talking a little bit about finances, I'm just curious how if you help entrepreneurs who may have benefits and how they navigate to make sure that they don't lose benefits, or, if they're real risk takers and maybe they want this to overcome even benefits and go beyond that and maybe have a greater resource.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
As attorney Stephen Dale would say, he's a special needs trust attorney here in the Bay Area. He's on the board of directors for the ARC of California as well. But he's a resource for us to help folks with special needs trusts if they need it. Just to clarify, many of our businesses are micro enterprises, so below the $1 million mark. But yes, to your point, we're helping people define their business plans if in their budget, if they're on benefits already, to account for the limits and to grow their business slowly. For many folks, it's a side hustle. For many folks, it's the pathway to the next gig, the next full-time job. And for a portion of the folks, it is their full-time gig. Cesar Ramos has a barbershop in the heart of the financial district and cuts Mayor Willie Brown's hair, in a part of the city that's really struggling to come back and slowly coming back. Ocean View Stables, a veteran-owned business out on the edge of Fort Funston and Ocean Beach area in San Francisco, owns a equestrian place where folks can go ride horses. They're closer to the $1 million mark. So really, to clarify, our community is a broad brushstroke from the federal definition of disability all the way to somebody like Cesar, who has underlying conditions that impact his daily life, but he's able to be off of benefits to earn a living. He also, many of our entrepreneurs have multiple gigs going on simultaneously. But yes, we help them frame their business so that it's not going to put them at risk. And if they are getting to that point, we help them improvise and adjust and make the necessary decisions to do it in a way that's thoughtful and not going to impact their benefits.
So in addition to any grants that you have, this small to medium, is that kind of what you help a lot with, is resources and helping them? I mean, you start a business and you've got nothing but questions every day, and answers to those questions probably lead to other questions. And, so do you help them with that? And do you bring people from the community at large, not just necessarily the disabled community, but business people to kind of help be guides and mentors and speakers for them?
It's a big family. Good. And I tell all of our participants in the Future Entrepreneur Program that starting a small business is not for the faint of heart. And I ask them personal questions sometimes that can make people, I was uncomfortable when I started my business and people asking me questions that were out. I didn't know all the answers, but those questions that made me feel uncomfortable helped me turn over stones and figure out how to do something. So asking people if they have a lifeline support, somebody that they can call and say, I don't know what to do in this situation. One of the positive attributes of being involved with SFDBA is, yes, having somebody in the room at our annual event or at Small Business Week or any other event that we're hosting or participating in to say, hey, can you help me with this? That's one thing that SFDBA does really well, is helping folks recognize the power of their network and getting outside of their comfort zone and understanding that it's about people and it's about building relationships and it's about building your brand and defining what your brand is and knowing when to pivot and when to stay the course. And it's been an interesting year for us that we've had to pivot a bit. And but as somebody said to me last night, in Cuba, it's thought that if there's something that is in front of you that's impacting your ability to move forward with a certain job or business situation, it's an opportunity. So starting to think more positively that there are opportunities that present themselves in the middle of uncertainty sometimes.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So as you move forward, I mean, now you're what, 5 years in?
Yep.
Which I'm sure at times that feels like forever, and then in other ways it's a blip, right? But as you go forward and you get more graduates, let's say through this program, those people can become mentors for people that come after them, right?
Exactly. And our community is so amazing. They always want to pay it forward. I have two of our small business owners that I called with moments notice to meet me at the mayor's office in City Hall to discuss our initiative. And literally, they didn't even flinch. They met me there. They were in the office. I mean, it was so serendipitous. It was just like, this is real. This is real.
Yeah.
This is my community. This is our community. So I love that about the work that we do. And I think it's inspiring in a way in San Francisco that's beyond the mainstream notion of what people think disability is.
Yeah.
And as you go forward, do you have a vision at this point where you may not be ready today, but you kind of have an idea as this unfolds in the years ahead where you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, we're all about building partnerships. We're trying to build a partnership now beyond what we already have established at San Francisco State. We're trying to build it with the Lamb Family College of Business, accessing their incubator space. We're looking at grants that are more arts-based because many of our participants are artists and doing more pop-up kind of performance and art situations. We have the ability to pivot and brand our organization in Denver or Portland or Southern California. SFDBA is a program under our 501c3, which is Disability Business and Arts Access. So it gives us the ability to leverage our brand and take it someplace else. That's my vision for the organization, is to see it popping up in other cities in the West.
Yeah.
Hey, don't even stick to the West. I'm in Atlanta. I'm saying move east. No, it's honestly, like, we had a pre-conversation a bit to get to know you a little bit. And after that pre-conversation, I was like, we need this in Atlanta. Yeah. Like, Atlanta is a very eclectic city like San Francisco and things. And I was like, this, I used to work for City of Atlanta. So I was like, this needs to happen.
I like the way you think. And I've been blessed. We've been blessed in the past year to be invited to several conferences to participate in getting momentum and becoming thought leaders.
Yes.
And included in more mainstream conversations around small business, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing. Well, I'm voting for Atlanta. I'll help over here.
Sounds like somebody's volunteering for a chapter chair.
Yeah, I am. I'm volunteering myself because I think it's a noble mission. And
I love it.
As a former teacher who is, it's very important to me that we feed things to future generations and that we help people see, no matter your ability, like, you can do this.
Yeah.
So
that's where it starts, right?
On something we know. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, networking, being warm and inclusive in general, that you can ask me a question. I might not know the answer. Let's go find it. But not being like, don't ask me about that. Don't ask me how I walk or why I use wheels or whatever. Like, I tend to be the one that's like, no, let your child ask me.
Yeah,
I don't stop people from that. And like you were saying, for future children and things, we are the reason it's going to go forward differently. And so let's do this all over.
It's all about storytelling. And I appreciate the opportunity to share our story with y'all because it really validates the impact and the importance of the work that we're doing here. Believe me, there are days where we all have days where we're questioning the trajectory of what we're working on. Mm-hmm. And it's moments like these that really inspire me to continue carrying the torch forward. And I'm really excited for Bay Area Disability Entrepreneurship event on November 5th at the Elks #3 in the heart of San Francisco in Union Square. Beautiful Union Square,
Amazing.
elegant space, but not too, it's business casual, so you can come and mingle. There will be amazing ASL interpreters there. So far, we have President of the Board of Supervisors, Rafa Mendelman, committed to being there, and several other dignitaries. We're hoping Mayor Lurie is able to make it as well. But it's going to be just a celebration, but also some really great stories shared from the grit and tenacity of our community.
There's a flyer up on our events page, and if you click on that picture, it'll take you to more information. So,
yeah, and if there's any accommodation requests or people have questions about the event, they can just email info@sfdba.org, and we'll get right back to you.
Perfect.
Amazing. I'm rewinding for a second, though, because I'm curious, the people that have been through your program, how do you find that they find you? How is it that the people are entering your program?
So far, our programs are free of charge. We've tried monetizing them, and we're still considering monetizing, kind of a membership or a small business certification or participation in our programs. But we're young, and historically, our community doesn't always have a lot of extra money to invest, but we like to see people having some skin in the game. But we have participants that purchase, 2 tickets for our annual event, and that's not nothing. I mean, it's contributing to our event, to our organization, to the mission of our organization. But most of our programs, Addie, to answer your question, are supported through grants and, to a lesser degree, individual donors. But our annual event is very important to us and a piece to our puzzle, as it were.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, a little bit of a rewind. You had touched upon some conferences that you were going to, and it seems like you've done a really good job of contacting and networking within the civic leaders of San Francisco. I'm just wondering, have you reached out to, and what has the response been like from business? Small, large, extra large.
In terms of
support,
like corporations, corporations.
Yeah.
Well, it's, as one of my great mentors told me, Doug, it's about shots on goal. Some of the relationships are developed organically, where somebody says, "Hey, well, I'll give you one example. There was a corporation here in San Francisco when I was at Golden Gate University, walking past their entrepreneurial center. And it was just my curiosity. So I started emailing people and saying, "Hey, I see you have an entrepreneurial center. Do you have a foundation as well?" And initially I was told no, but then I found the foundation. I wrote a grant. I submitted it, and they've funded us since 2022.
Wow.
And then there's, it's about your network, people introducing you to somebody and saying, "Hey, when we started, we were incubated in the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce." And, historically, chambers have kind of I'll share my limited scope of what I thought chambers of commerce were when I first started, approaching the idea. I always just thought it was a lyric in a Bob Dylan song, something about the head of the Chamber of Commerce, and thinking about, having a limited scope on what that actually embodied. And the San Francisco Chamber is very diverse. And I know that that's maybe a misunderstood word right now, but San Francisco is a melting pot of diverse folks. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have launched when we did in March of 2020. So talk about inclusion, talk about real, it was a brave thing for them to step into, and their president and CEO came to our launch event in March of 2020 and self-identified with his severe dyslexia, like
Okay.
in front of his peers who didn't even know that he had it. So I was like, wow, this is powerful. And I know at the federal level, dyslexia is not considered to be as big of a disability. It doesn't get, covered in IEPs or whatever, but I find that pretty profound that people
That's
in
surprising.
our network, it's not any dissimilar to coming out in the LGBTQ community. Chef Lulu of Casablanca, Kenya, was reluctant to come out, and she came out at our event 2 years ago and participated on a panel discussion about the impact, of her disability on traditional employment and how owning a small business was empowering for her to be more independent in the world. And that to me was just amazing.
It's awesome. So my other question, which I think I kind of maybe confused the situation, but if you're a person who has a small business idea and are disabled and want to participate and go through some of your things, how do I do that? How do I find you? How do they get to you?
Very simple. www.sfdba, that's San Francisco Disability Business Alliance.org. So sfdba.org. And that email I gave you earlier, info@sfdba, is also a good link for any follow-up questions, but it explains all of our programs online and shows some of our events in the past. We're hoping to build an online kind of something bigger in terms of a toolkit and an online network. Back to your question, Doug, where do I see the organization going?
Yeah.
Getting more into AI. I know it probably drives people crazy, but thinking more how we can be creating our own tools to help people with disabilities start businesses, and also more of an online network.
I'm hearing more and more leaders and I almost hate to use the term experts on AI, but as they're starting to analyze it, they're saying it may lead to more employment, even within, a business that starts to use it. It's not going to replace people, but it might spur, so I don't know.
I sat on a panel with the University of Pennsylvania this summer about AI, and I was quoting Wendell Berry about, the fact that, you can have technology helping you do certain things, but you can't escape the fact that you have to have human beings involved. I love writing. I love interacting with human beings, and you cannot replace that integral piece. You could create a business or a website or whatever on AI, but you cannot replace being in nature and being in the company of other people.
And I'll only say this to that, Peter. There are, I love that. That's my philosophy. But in my own life's experience, corporate America doesn't see it that way. And what people don't really understand, and there's no reason to, in the business that I worked in for 45 years, radio, the computers destroyed it. Because what happened is it made all the actual work that human beings had to do so much more efficient that fewer and fewer human beings could do the work.
It's a balance.
Yeah, it is a balance. And what we lost with that efficiency was the human element and the creative element.
But look how cool it is that you have a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it kind of shifts, it doesn't necessarily go away. It's people like me, I'm not in radio anymore, but I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm the boss and I love it. I get to talk to people like Peter and so many other wonderful people.
It's evolution in the life's path, but not forgetting that there's a soul inside of you that is pushing you on your life path and telling you to do this. That for me, AI has become a big deal. Obviously, like with my plot twist and stuff, I infuse it with me as a human and use it in my service to push some things forward. But I think that's the thing, right? Like we couldn't get out to as many people to say, be the amazing human you are, let your soul free, share your story, if we didn't use some technologies to do it, right?
Using it as a tool, but staying committed to the human condition,
Yeah.
I think now more than ever is extremely important to recognize the whole human being and recognize that everybody's struggling right now in some way, shape, or form. Everybody has their story, and giving people the chance to tell you their story before you pass judgment. And, I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now. So I think binding together as a larger community within a community is so critical right now, and just being kind. There are good people doing good work in the world, and I think we can continue to nurture that and share our stories.
You are a professional cheering, professionalized cheering section for the people that are often overlooked, right? And that's great. And going to the event that you're going to have will help people. It only takes a little spark to say, hey, I got an idea and I can do this, and I'm going to invest in me, right? And then they step out and you're like, what if the world didn't know what they knew because they never stepped? So you're providing them a place to step, which is amazing. And we look forward to hearing, in the future, what's going to come out of people stepping and you holding their hand.
Thank you. Yeah, it takes a village. It takes a whole village to make it happen. So one foot in front of the other, and just continuing to nurture our craft and tell our story and refine our process and continue to learn. You have to be open to learn and to face those hurdles. Again, recognizing those hurdles as opportunities. And when my friend said that to me last night, I was like, that's amazing, because as I said, we've had to pivot this year, and it really shed some light on the grace and the fortitude that we've pivoted, and that what those stories have kind of shared with us in terms of gratitude and in helping us as an organization take a step forward.
Thank you, Peter, for coming on. We appreciate it too.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Each week on Walk and Roll Live, we share honest and open stories of people living with a disability.
That was my initial spark of hope. Like, okay, maybe this isn't completely going to be the end of my life. I had a little bit of hope, but I still was really down. I could not do anything for myself. I was working on feeding myself, trying to push my chair, trying to drive, trying to go skiing. So that just seemed outlandish and kind of crazy at that time.
Join us weekly for another powerful episode. Walk and Roll Live, wherever you get your podcasts. Life Limitless. Subscribe now.
From the UGG Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
I would be shocked if we came back from one of these interviews and you were saying, I didn't really like that one today, but I know that's not the case. What do you think?
I love every conversation we have. I love the 6 degrees of separation that we've got. Obviously, with me and the plot twist, I like small business stuff. So the fact that Peter, who had this brainchild, the San Francisco Disability Business Alliance, was able to sit down with us is amazing. For me, who's like sitting here and like, oh, I'm just a squirrel over here that had an idea. And he's like, no, there's a way to do this. So great conversation. I also, Peter, I'm shouting out to you because the DBA in the name was totally smart. Even though it doesn't have to do with like doing business as. Excellent crossover.
Absolutely. Yeah. And hang on. My brain, he's going to talk about that. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you said again? No, you said, God.
The small businesses, Disability Small Business Alliance.
It was about the kind of before that with just
when I was saying being a squirrel and having an idea and like this is now a formalized
just
program.
the getting in touch. Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, I know what it is. When I thought about doing this is exactly part of what I was hoping would happen. Is that we would talk to people and it would lead to other people that would lead to other people that would help, all of us who are part of this conversation, and this just really, I started doing backflips in my mind because, this is one of the strongest times I've felt it happening, so.
Same,
yeah,
right? When it was through my LinkedIn, I was like, people look at my LinkedIn and they know we do a podcast.
Yes.
Like, I had an out-of-body experience for a second. I'm like, this thing works and we're being noticed for the podcast. And Doug, that's like bravo to you, because this is a brainchild of like retirement and sticking with it. I know you've talked about there were times where you're like,
discouraged,
I can't even. So here, bravo to you. We're getting noticed. We're being, seeked out as a place to share, which is what you were trying for. So
yeah,
mission never accomplished, but mission inching forward, let's say, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And you hear that message so many times. If anybody's listening to this and you've gone to, business type conferences where they're, it's a cheerleading kind of thing, and it's a motivational meetings a lot of times where they and you need that. It's like guys who are at the top of their field, say in baseball, basketball, NFL, whatever. They've got coaches. It's like you would think, okay, these guys are at the top of their field. Well, what do they need to be coached about? They're going to go out there and just do these incredible things. Yeah, but no, everybody, to be better and better and better, you need a coach and you need somebody motivating you, and that's sometimes what you go to a business conference for, and then you hear. Right. And one of the things they tell you is, you just have to keep going. You have to keep going. And sometimes, the tipping point is just out of your reach, but if you stay a little bit longer and you just push it a little bit more, then that tipping is going to come. So, I feel like.
Life Thoughts by Doug. There you go, people. That's the other pearl of wisdom given by Doug today. Hold on, one more day. You never know. Yeah. I feel like music should start playing right now, but. I know. But so November 5th, can you tell a little bit more about what's happening on November 5th?
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go to the website. Can you play the music from
I kept hearing "Hold On for One More Day." I don't even know what music that is, but that's what I was.
What's the game show when time is passing and they play the Jeopardy?
Bee boo, bee boo, bee boo, bee. That.
Is that it? Jeopardy.
Something like that. Yeah. While you're writing your answer, and then Alex Trebek came back and said, "No, I'm sorry."
All right. Here it goes. Bay Area Disability Entrepreneurship Annual Event 2025. So it's from 5 to 8 p.m. I believe it's free. You just step in and you can chat with everybody, kind of a mixer type format. It sounds like Elks Lodge in San Francisco, Kaiser Permanente is a part of it, and a number of other organizations. If you go to our website, go to our events page and click on the poster at the top of the page, it'll take you right through to their website and more information about the event.
Amazing.
How'd we do?
We did good.
All right. And it sounds like Peter, I don't know if it was afterwards when we were chatting or during the interview, but there's a number of people that he mentioned that would love to talk to those people, but some very interesting subjects.
Yes,
that they could go into.
Helping fill out our roster.
Yeah.
But I think this is an amazing thing for me. This is kind of all about taking a chance, right? You took a chance to make a podcast right after your retirement and make this your thing, right? And then he comes up with this idea through life experiences, launches it like almost immediately right before the pandemic, sticks with it. And now, what is it? 5 years later, we collide. So if anybody's sitting on the fence about, should I let my dream open up to the world?
Go for it.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Yes.
What?
Come on. You're the one that always remembers this.
Oh, God. No. I'm hungry. No. If you can subscribe, and follow us, that would be super helpful. And the more the more we get connected, the more we can help.
Yeah.
And so help us.
On top of that, we express how much we love these guests and we love their stories. We also love you. Thank you so much. Every week, I just love to see these numbers popping up. And I know there's a human being behind each one of those people. And you know what? I'm starting to understand your routine. Hopefully.
Right? We can look at the metrics, people. We know you listen when you're driving to work or you're.
What's a big day for us is Sunday morning.
Which makes sense, right?
Huh?
It makes sense.
It does make sense. Yeah. Because I'll get up in the morning and there's already, a lot of downloads. And I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm just picturing you getting up, getting your newspaper, if we still do that kind of thing, or getting out your phone and reading your favorite blog and
turning on the podcast.
And putting on a cup of coffee and away you go. Yeah. So yes, please let us know you're listening. So we appreciate that very much. Thank you. One final piece of housekeeping. I want to let you know, please tune in next week. I have been trying to track this man down for, probably since I started the show. It's just one of those guys that I knew I wanted to get on, and he had moved out of the state, and finally tracked him down. So we're going to get him on next week. You may know him. One Arm Willie Stewart is going to be our guest next week on Walk and Roll Live. And we've come to that part of the show where we say...
What
do we say? Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Doug Vincent. Addie Rich is with me from the Aguiar Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live. Disability Stories, Life Limitless.
Walk and Roll Live.